I wish I could say I never saw it coming. I wish I could tell you that everything in my life had been picture perfect until that one moment, like a scene from a movie, the kind of thing you tell yourself happens to other people, but never to you. But here I am, sitting in the quiet aftermath of it all, wondering how I got here. It all started so innocently. Mark and I had been married for 5 years, and we had a rhythm, a comfortable way of existing together. He worked long hours at a finance firm, and I had just returned to work part-time after a couple of years, staying home with our 2 kids. We had a routine, dinner together when we could manage, weekends filled with trips to the park or running errands. Life had settled into a rhythm, and for a while, I thought it was all I needed. I thought I was happy, but what I didn't realize was that something was slowly unraveling beneath the surface. It wasn't until that Thursday afternoon when I walked in on him that everything changed. I had picked up the kids from school early, decided to surprise Mark with some of his favorite takeout for lunch, just a small gesture, nothing special. When I arrived home, I could hear voices in the living room, but it wasn't the usual sounds of him working or watching TV. It was more intimate, like a quiet conversation. I couldn't make out the words, but something about it felt off. I stood there in the doorway, listening, and then I heard it, her voice. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe it was the quiet tension, or maybe it was just an instinct, but I quietly stepped forward, just enough to peek into the living room. And that's when I saw it. Mark was sitting on the couch, looking at his phone, his back slightly turned to me. There, beside him, was a woman. She wasn't physically present, but I could see the glow of her face. On his screen, it was unmistakable. She was there, talking to him, smiling at him through the phone. But what stopped me dead in my tracks was what I heard next. "I know you care about me, Mark," she said, her voice soft and seductive. "I feel the love in everything you do. You know that, right? I'm the one you've been waiting for. You've always known it, even when we were apart." My stomach lurched. I couldn't breathe. The words didn't quite register at first. What was this? Who was she? Mark's response was just as heartbreaking. "I've always known it, too. I just needed to let go of the fear. I know what I feel, and I can't hide it anymore. You're the one I've been looking for my whole life." I stood frozen, my hand pressed against the doorframe, unable to move. My heart was racing, but it wasn't from excitement. It was from the shock, the betrayal, the sudden realization that everything I thought I knew about my marriage was a lie. I didn't hear anything after that. I didn't want to hear anything else. My mind was too full of questions. Who is this woman? Why is Mark telling her this? Why am I hearing it from the doorway, like I'm some kind of intruder in my own home? I didn't know how long I stood there, paralyzed by the conversation that felt like a punch to the gut. Eventually, I stepped back quietly, retreating to the hallway before either of them could see me. My heart was pounding so loudly in my ears that I thought it might explode. I couldn't even think straight. It was all too much. Too fast. I went into the kitchen, trying to steady my breath, trying to make sense of what had just happened. My hands were shaking as I set the takeout bags down, the clattering of the containers sounding too loud in the otherwise silent house. I tried to remind myself that maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it wasn't what it seemed. But the words were clear. There was no denying what I had just heard. I had been so sure of Mark. He was my partner, the father of my children, the man I trusted, more than anyone else in the world. We had our issues, like any couple, but I never imagined that the real problem was something this deep, something that had been happening right under my nose. I didn't know what to do next. Should I confront him? Should I wait until he came home ready to face the truth? Or was I just being paranoid, hearing things that weren't there? Was this just some misunderstanding? I didn't have the answers, but I knew I couldn't just pretend it hadn't happened. I had to talk to him, but I wasn't sure how to begin. How do you even start a conversation when you've just uncovered something so huge? When Mark came home that evening, I had to fight every instinct to act normal. I couldn't pretend. Not anymore. He walked through the door, smiling like everything was fine. And for a second, I almost wanted to pretend, to just go on with the charade, to let him think everything was okay. But I couldn't. I wouldn't. Mark, I said, my voice trembling slightly as I stood in the living room. We need to talk. His smile faltered. He could see something was off. What's going on? You look upset. I could feel my chest tightening, my hands shaking as I clutched the edge of the counter. I know. What's going on, Mark? I said quietly, trying to keep my voice steady. I heard you. Talking to her. He froze, the color draining from his face as he registered what I said. What? Sarah, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, I snapped, my voice rising. I heard everything. I heard you telling her how much you love her, how you've always known she was the one. Sophia. Who is she, Mark? His face went pale, and for a moment he didn't say anything. His eyes dropped to the floor, and I could see him struggling to find the right words. I never wanted you to find out like this, he said finally, his voice strained. I didn't mean for it to happen. I thought it was something I could keep separate from you. I stared at him in disbelief. Something you could keep separate from me? What does that even mean, Mark? Why were you talking to her like that? Why were you telling her things you should have been telling me? Why did I have to hear it from the doorway like some stranger? I don't know, he said, shaking his head. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. She was someone I met online. I never meant for it to turn into something more, but it did. And I didn't know how to tell you. I was confused, Sarah. I didn't want to hurt you. The words hit me like a slap to the face. You've been lying to me, Mark. This whole time you've been lying. And now you're telling me you didn't know how to tell me? How long has this been going on? He didn't answer immediately. It's been going on for a while now, he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. I've been talking to her for months. At first, it was just messages, just casual things. But it turned into something deeper. And I didn't know how to stop it. You didn't know how to stop it? I repeated, my voice thick with emotion. You didn't know how to stop this affair. And you thought I wouldn't find out? You thought I wouldn't be hurt? I never wanted you to find out, he said again, his voice filled with regret. I didn't want to hurt you. I never wanted you to feel this way. Then why didn't you just tell me? I asked, the tears welling up now, my frustration boiling over. Why didn't you just tell me the truth, instead of hiding it from me, instead of making me feel like I was going crazy? I don't know, he said, his voice breaking now. I was selfish, Sarah. I should have been honest with you. I was afraid of losing you. But now I see that I've already lost you. I don't know how to fix it. I shook my head, the tears falling freely now. You don't get it, Mark. You don't understand what this does to me. You've been living the secret life, and I had no idea. I don't know if I can get past this. I don't know if I can forgive you. I love you, Sarah, he said, his voice thick with emotion. I never wanted to hurt you. Please let me prove to you that I can change. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll work to earn back your trust. I took a step back, my chest tight with the weight of everything he had just confessed. I don't know if I can do that, Mark. I don't know if I can trust you again. The silence that followed was deafening. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know if I could ever forgive him for what he had done. But one thing was certain, this wasn't just about Sophia. It wasn't just about the lies. It was about everything we had built, everything we had lost, and whether or not we could ever find our way back. And right now, I didn't have the answer. But I knew I couldn't just walk away without giving myself the space to figure it out. The next few days felt like I was walking through a fog, unsure of where I was headed, but unable to stop moving forward. Mark's words echoed in my mind constantly. I loved you, Sarah. I never wanted to hurt you. But I was starting to realize that his promises didn't change the fact that the person I thought I knew, the man I had trusted with everything, had been hiding pieces of his life from me. And worse, I wasn't sure if he understood the gravity of what he had done. The questions that had plagued me since I overheard that conversation were still there, twisting in my chest, making it hard to think clearly. Why did he do this? Why wasn't I enough for him? Why couldn't he have come to me with the truth? I couldn't stop thinking about her, Sophia. Who was she? How did Mark fall for her? Was it emotional? Physical? How long had it been going on? And why hadn't he told me about it before? The more I thought about it, the more angry I became, and the more I realized that I couldn't just let it go. I had to confront him. I needed answers. But what kind of answers was I really looking for? Could his apologies be enough to fix this? Could I forgive him for the betrayal, the lies? I didn't know, and that uncertainty was eating me alive. When I woke up the following morning, I knew I had to do something. I couldn't keep pretending like I was okay. I couldn't keep living in this fog of confusion. I needed clarity, and I needed to hear it from him. I texted Mark, telling him I needed to talk. It wasn't a question anymore. It was a demand. We had to face this head-on. When he walked through the door that afternoon, I could see how much he was dreading it. He had been pacing around the house all morning, unable to sit still, unable to focus. I knew this was hard for him too, but the truth was, it didn't matter. He had already shattered my trust, and now he was going to have to deal with the consequences. Sarah, he said, his voice tight with tension. I'm sorry for what I did. I know I hurt you. I never meant to. I don't know what happened. I let things go too far, and I should have told you. I should have been honest. I didn't want to hear apologies. Not yet. Not when I had so many questions. Not when I was still trying to piece together the truth. Mark, I said, cutting him off, I need you to be honest with me. No more excuses. No more half-truths. Tell me everything. What's going on with you and Sophia? Why have you been keeping this secret? Why didn't you tell me the truth? His face darkened, and I could see the guilt written all over him. I wasn't thinking straight. Sarah, he said, his voice low, almost ashamed. Sophia and I met a few years ago before we even got married. It was nothing at first, just casual conversations. But over time we started talking more, and I guess I just got caught up in it. It wasn't supposed to be anything more. I never intended for it to get this far. I felt a sharp pain in my chest. Caught up in it, I repeated, my voice trembling. Is that what you call it? A few years ago. So this has been going on for years. He nodded, his eyes filled with regret. Yes, I should have stopped it before it went too far. I should have told you sooner, but I was ashamed. I was scared of losing you. I stood there, trying to process what he was saying. Years. He had been hiding this for years. And the worst part, he hadn't felt that it was necessary to be honest with me. Not until I had uncovered it, until I had walked in on that moment and heard him tell her things I had never heard him say to me. Do you even understand what this does to me? I asked, my voice breaking. Do you understand that I've been living a lie, Mark? That you've been telling me everything was fine, while you've been keeping this from me? I deserve more than that. I know, he said softly, his voice full of pain. I know I've failed you. I should have been honest with you from the start. I should have been open about everything. But I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to mess things up. And now I see how much I've hurt you. His words were hollow to me now. Apologies weren't going to fix this. His guilt wasn't going to take away the betrayal I felt. I wanted him to feel that pain, to understand the depth of the damage he had caused. You don't get it, do you? I said, the anger rising in my chest again. You've been lying to me, hiding things from me, and now you expect me to just forgive you? You think a few words will make it better? I don't even know who you are anymore. I thought I knew you, but now I see that I was just living in a fantasy. He stepped closer, his face full of emotion. I don't want to lose you, Sarah. I can't lose you. Please, I'm begging you. Let me show you that I can change. Let me prove to you that I can be the man you need me to be. Please don't give up on me. His desperation was palpable, but it only made the knot in my stomach tighten. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know if I could even begin to forgive him for what he had done. Could I ever see him the same way again? Could I trust him? Could I ever look at him without wondering if there was more he wasn't telling me? I don't know, Mark, I whispered. I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I can go back to the way things were. I don't know if I can trust you again. He took my hands in his grip tight, as if trying to hold on to whatever was left between us. I'll do anything, Sarah, he said, his voice breaking. Anything to make this right. Please, just don't walk away from me. I love you. I've always loved you. And I don't want to lose you. The word stung, because I knew deep down that part of me still loved him too. But love wasn't enough. Not this time. I had been betrayed, lied to, kept in the dark about something so significant, something that changed everything. I didn't know if love could fix that. I need time, I said softly, pulling my hands away from his. I need time to think. I don't know what I want. I don't know if I can keep going like this. Mark's face crumpled, and for a moment I saw the man I had once known, the one who was kind and dependable. But I also saw the man who had kept secrets, who had lied, who had broken my trust. And in that moment, I knew that whatever came next, things would never be the same. I understand, he whispered. I'll wait, Sarah. I'll wait as long as it takes. But I wasn't sure if I could wait. I wasn't sure if I could forgive. And I wasn't sure if I could ever feel the same way about him again. I left him there, standing in the living room, and went to the bedroom, shutting the door behind me. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. Could I rebuild my trust in him? Could we heal from this? The truth was I didn't know, but I couldn't keep pretending like I had all the answers. I needed time, and I needed space to figure out if I could even begin to trust him again. The hardest part was knowing that, no matter what, I couldn't go back to the way things were before. I couldn't ignore the cracks in our relationship. I didn't know if Mark and I would ever find our way back to each other, but I knew one thing: the road ahead was going to be long, and only time would tell if we could make it through. The days after that conversation were some of the hardest I had ever endured. The weight of everything Mark had told me, everything I had uncovered, sat heavy on my chest. I couldn't stop thinking about the life he had been living without me, the lies he had told, and the things I still didn't know. The feelings were overwhelming: betrayal, confusion, hurt. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that the man I had loved for so long was still there, underneath all the secrecy and deception. But how could I trust him again? How could I move past the fact that everything we had built felt like it had been built on sand? Mark gave me the space I had asked for. I could see the strain in his eyes every time he tried to talk to me, to ask how I was doing, but I couldn't bring myself to engage fully. I didn't know what to say. He was trying so hard to make amends, to show me that he was sorry, but his efforts only made it harder. Every time he reached out, I was reminded of the secret life he had kept hidden, and the more he apologized, the more I realized that the hurt wasn't going to fade easily. He couldn't just fix it with words. It wasn't that simple. I spent the next few days in a kind of emotional limbo, vacillating between anger and sadness, wanting to know more, but not sure if I could handle the truth. I stayed away from the house as much as I could, spending time with friends and family, trying to distract myself from the reality that was closing in on me. But the questions kept coming, and the more I tried to ignore them, the more I realized I needed answers. I had to know the full story. I had to know if what Mark had told me was the whole truth, or if there was more to this than I could see. One evening, after a long day at work, I found myself standing in the kitchen, staring at the phone in my hand. I had made up my mind. I needed to confront him one last time. I needed to hear it from him directly, to ask him the questions that had been swirling in my head for days. I had been avoiding this conversation for far too long, but I couldn't move forward without it. I needed to know everything. I sent Mark a text. Can we talk tonight? I need answers. I'm not sure I can move forward without them. His response came quickly, almost too quickly. Of course. I'll be home by 7. Please, just give me a chance to explain everything. I didn't know what to expect when he came home. Part of me wanted to believe he was telling the truth. Part of me wanted to believe that this was just a mistake, something that could be worked through. But the other part of me, the part that felt betrayed, the part that had been keeping track of all the little lies, wasn't so sure. How could I trust someone who had hidden such a big part of their life from me? How could I trust someone who had betrayed me like this? When Mark arrived home, his eyes immediately found mine, and for the first time in days I saw the vulnerability in his expression. His usual calm demeanor was gone, replaced by a deep sadness and uncertainty. He looked like a man who had lost everything and didn't know how to get it back. I'm here, he said softly, closing the door behind him. I'm ready to talk, Sarah. I didn't say anything at first. I just motioned for him to sit down, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't know how to start. Where did I even begin? The hurt, the anger, the confusion, there was so much inside me that I didn't know how to put it into words. But I knew I had to. Mark, I said, my voice tight, I need to understand what happened. I need to know why you kept this from me. Why did you think I wouldn't find out? Why didn't you tell me the truth? He looked at me, his face full of regret. I don't know. I don't know why I thought I could hide it from you. I didn't think it would go this far. I thought I could keep it separate from everything else. I didn't want to hurt you, Sarah. I didn't want to lose you. But you did lose me, Mark, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. You've already lost me, and I don't know if I can ever get that back. I know, he whispered, his voice shaking. I know I've messed up. I never meant for it to get this far. I didn't want to lose you. And now I see what I've done. I see how badly I've hurt you. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if I can. I shook my head, tears welling in my eyes. I don't know if you can fix it either, Mark. I don't know if I can trust you again. I don't know how to look at you and not see the man who lied to me, who kept secrets from me. How do I get past that? I'm willing to do whatever it takes, he said, his voice low but full of desperation. I know I can't take back what I've done, but I'll do anything, Sarah. Please don't give up on me. Please don't walk away from us. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I don't know if I can forgive you, Mark. I whispered. I don't know if I can move forward with you after everything you've done. His face fell, and I could see the pain in his eyes. Please, Sarah. Please don't leave me. I love you. I've always loved you. I don't want to lose you. The tears spilled over, and I wiped them away quickly. I don't know what I want, I said quietly, my voice breaking. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. I don't know if I can move past the fact that you've been hiding things from me, that you've been lying to me. He took a step closer, his eyes pleading. Please, let me show you that I can be the man you deserve. I know it's going to take time. I know I've broken your trust, but I'm not giving up. I love you too much. I felt the weight of his words, but it wasn't enough. I need time, Mark, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I need time to figure this out. I don't know what I need, but I can't make any decisions right now. I understand, he said softly, his face full of regret. I'll wait, Sarah. I'll wait for however long it takes. I just need you to know that I love you, and I'm not going anywhere. I nodded slowly, feeling the exhaustion of the past few days settle deep into my bones. I don't know what the future holds, Mark. I don't know if we can fix this. I don't know if I can ever trust you again. We'll figure it out, he said quietly, his eyes filled with sincerity. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I can be the man you need me to be. As he left that evening, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Part of me wanted to believe him, wanted to believe that we could work through this, that we could rebuild what had been broken. But another part of me, the part that had been hurt so deeply, the part that felt like my world, had been turned upside down, wasn't sure it was even possible. I sat there in the quiet of the living room, the silence almost suffocating. I didn't know if I could forgive Mark. I didn't know if I could trust him again. But one thing was certain, I wasn't ready to give up on us just yet. I wasn't ready to walk away from everything we had built. But the road ahead was going to be long, and I wasn't sure where it would lead. The next few days were filled with moments of clarity and doubt. I found myself thinking about the love letters I had found, the online conversations, the promises Mark had made to her. I found myself questioning everything about our life together, wondering if it was all just a lie. But the love I had for Mark, the love that had carried us through the years, was still there. It wasn't gone. Not yet. I didn't know where we would go from here, but I knew one thing. I couldn't make this decision alone. I couldn't carry this burden by myself. I needed help. I needed someone to talk to. So I called Julie. Julie answered the phone almost immediately. Hey, Sarah, what's going on? I don't know what to do anymore, I said, the tears falling freely. I don't know if I can forgive him. I don't know if I can trust him again. But I don't want to walk away either. Julie was quiet for a moment, and then she spoke softly. You don't have to have all the answers right now, Sarah. It's okay to take your time. Just take it one day at a time. I nodded, wiping my tears away. I don't know if I can ever trust him again, but I don't want to give up. Not yet. Then don't, she said simply. Don't give up, but also don't rush into anything. Take it one step at a time. You'll know when you're ready to make a decision. And in that moment, I realized that I didn't have to have all the answers right now. I didn't have to decide everything in one conversation. I could take the time I needed, and I could figure this out at my own pace. For the first time in days, I felt a sense of calm. Maybe it wasn't all going to be okay right away. But maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance. We weren't done yet. I wasn't done yet. And I was going to figure out what came next.